Politics. How's it going? It is Thursday. Thirsty Thursday. Who's thirsty? Well, I know the people in Florida are. We have the CPAC conference starting from February 25th, ends February 28th with a bang. Donald Trump's speech. Everyone's looking forward to it. I mean, everyone who's a Republican. Is the left wing looking forward to it? Well, only so they could take everything that he says and twist it, make it seem like he's a Kremlin puppet, a guy who likes Russian hookers to pee on him. What else can they say? A guy who's doing tax returns scams. A guy who's a horrible, horrible dictator. So while the Republicans love Trump and they can't wait to hear what he's going to say at CPAC, we have the left wing. They can't wait either to hear what Trump's going to say, but for completely different reasons. You guys, isn't this crazy? The fighting, the divisiveness, it's crazy. The more you tighten your grip, the more star systems slip through your fingers, Democrats and Republicans. Now, I have to tell you guys, did you know that before the United States was a country, a sovereign country, before they signed a Declaration of Independence in Philadelphia and manifested a republic with checks and balances and sovereignty over those different branches, this was a government that it was never before even nobody ever created a government like this before. Remember, guys, before this was a monarchy. Before this was kings and queens. In fact, we rebelled against a British king, King George III. Before America, there was no democracy. There was no republic. There was only kings, noblemen, and commoners. America changed the whole game. They made it in the Constitution that all men were created equal, with inalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Completely shitting on the monarchy, the nobles, the King's Road. Everyone was equal. Everyone could inherit the wealth of the country. Everyone had manifest destiny. Changing the game. And yet, do you know why we have stars on our flag? What are stars? Stars are hydrogen and helium, big balls of gas burning billions and billions of miles away. The hydrogen and helium are so heated that they create a radiance, a luminescence of light. Now, hydrogen and helium, those are two elements, just like the right wing and the left wing. Without those two elements, the stars would not have been created. You couldn't just have a hydrogen star or a helium star. You need both. Same as it is with our country. We were supposed to complement each other. As it turns out, the Democrats and Republicans have completely destroyed the entire meaning of our country. The meaning of our country was all of us working together for the good, the common good. Now we have politicians of both parties funneling the wealth to the 1%. It's a nightmare, guys. I don't know what we're going to do about this, but I will tell you, it's keeping me awake at night. It's keeping me awake at night every time I see the Democrats wanting to go after tax return. Like, what are they even looking for anymore? Why are they shirking the American people and their needs? And everybody's okay with this? You know, this is the reason why I'm not into the conventional wisdom and the social norms. Veronica, I know you're watching. What do you think of all this? What do you think of all this? Everybody's la-da-da-da-da. I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, we're all divided, so the country's not working the way it's supposed to be. These parties aren't supposed to be together. They're not supposed to exist. And our country is slipping further and further into poverty, into a second world country. into not even a republic anymore, but an oligarchy. What do you think about that, Veronica? Everybody seems to be okay with that just because they can choose a side. You know, I saw that on the Free Thinkers group, you and William, when he was trying to, he didn't even watch the video, right? Candace Owens video. He just doesn't like Candace Owens because Candace Owens is the other side. Fuck watching the videos. Fuck listening to their points. It's the other side. I like what you said. You said, I don't have a side. That's exactly right. There's only supposed to be one side. The side of our country, the United States of America. Now, the right wing and the left wing, they're not really sides. They're just like the right brain and the left brain. They work together. The left brain is creativity. The right brain is managing. Together, these things work. There is no sides. There is no red line in the sand when it comes to the right wing and the left wing. I don't understand, man. I don't get why we feel that way in our country. Maybe it's because I live in Texas that, like, the Republicans don't scare me because I hear what they say every day. Maybe if you live in New York, you don't really hear Republican stuff, so you're super afraid. You want to censor things. You want to ban things. I don't really get it, guys. But all I can tell you is that when we put a red line in the sand and we ask people to choose a side with our own countrymen, we're dividing, obviously. I think we are. I think we saw that with the insurrection. I mean, it was poorly planned. I don't even know what they were planning on doing. Like, what were they planning on doing besides sitting in Mike Pence's chair? I know they were angry. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's all this pent-up rage, and nobody knows where to direct it. You know what I'm saying, Veronica? I think I know where to direct it. But nobody wants to hear the dirty, ugly truth. The truth that these two parties should not exist. And inherently, they, in and of themselves, are literally destroying the country. They're like parasites. The country was supposed to work with the right and the left. They didn't have parties. These guys are parasites feeding off the country. Literally. They're parasites. So, that's literally what's destroying our country, guys. And what are we gonna, that's the first decision we need to make. If George Washington was here, if Thomas Jefferson was here, they would make those decisions. Now, the reason we can't make these decisions, guys, is because, now, let's be realistic. 40% of the country doesn't even vote. 40% of the country doesn't even vote. Why? Because deep down they know that these two parties aren't supposed to exist. And they are not governing for our good, but only to maintain power. They know that. So they don't even try. Talk to my friend Jen. She's like, why even vote? They'll pick who they want anyway, right? That's what they say. It's true. The other side, the rest, I'm not a math surgeon. So it's 40% of the country doesn't vote, 60% of the country does, right? So the 60% is literally divided into Republicans and Democrats. And these guys are so with their side that they don't realize that both of these parties are parasites that are feeding off of the country and destroying it. Literally destroying our wealth, our resources, and they're destroying our principles and values, guys. They don't give a shit about our principles and values. They don't give a shit about us. They only give a shit about staying in power. And they use our principles and our values to put a wedge in between us and divide us. They literally use our principles and values for evil. Isn't that crazy? Our principles and values were supposed to be, we were supposed to live them. We're supposed to lead by example. We're supposed to be a shining beacon on a hill. They're not supposed to be talking points on mainstream media, cable news companies. They're literally made a mockery out of our principles and our values. And they've made a mockery out of what our country was supposed to stand for. So it's very disappointing. And this is what we're fighting, literally. This is the problem. We can talk about all of the other issues, But when it all comes down to it, guys, all of the issues that are actually important to the American people are not even passing into Congress because they don't give a shit. They're only passing things that they want to pass to fund their donors. Literally, they could have just taken this $2,000 stimulus check. They could have just passed that by itself. Did you all know that? They could have done it a standalone bill with just the $2,000 checks. Guess what would have happened if they did that? Whoever voted against that shit would have been out of office for the rest of their lives. So that's why they don't do that. That's why they tie all of this pork in. They tie all of this other spending in. And they cloud everything. I don't understand why we can't just call these people out and say, why don't you just pass a $2,000 standalone stimulus package? You have not done anything for the American people since March. You closed down small businesses. People lost their jobs. People lost their earning way for earning. People lost everything. And you turn around and then you give people $1,200 and you give them $600 3 months later. Meanwhile, you give trillions of dollars to the banks, the military-industrial complex, and Wall Street. Meanwhile, you do that. And then you think about, after you promise that $2,000 checks are going to go out the door on day one, after we elect Warnock and Ossoff to the Senate, and 2 months later, you still don't even have the stimulus relief COVID because you have to tie in $15 minimum wage, you have to tie in PPP, and we need more money for our airlines. No. You said that the $2,000 checks were supposed to go out the door on day one. Joe Biden, if you were serious about that, you would have said to your Democrats, you would have said, guys, I'm the leader of the party. This is a standalone bill because I promised the people of Georgia that I was going to take those checks out on day one. So I don't want anyone putting anything on a bill. This is a standalone bill for $2,000 checks. It's going to go through the House. It's going to go through the Senate. And I'm going to sign it. But did Joe Biden do that, guys? Did Joe Biden go to the bully pulpit and tell the Democratic Party what to do? No. You know why? Because he cares about the conventional wisdom, the social norms, and the people that own him. We don't own him. We are supposed to be the hirers and firers. We, the people of the United States, are supposed to establish justice, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings. We are their employers. And literally, Joe Biden took one look at us, and he said, so anyway, what about Raytheon? What about Boeing? What about Dow? What about Microsoft? What about Amazon? He knows who his real owners are. Guys, we have to change this. We have to change the politicians thinking that their owners is Amazon corporations. Their owners are not corporations. Their owners are we the people. It is a ridiculous premise to think that their owners are corporations. It's outrageous, guys. Do you guys understand how outrageous it is? That these politicians literally think that Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg are their owners. No. In the Constitution, in the preamble, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, enact this republic, and you are public servants that will carry out the agenda of the American people. But guys, it has gotten so bad that these parties are not interested in that at all. They're not even pretending to be interested. They're only, since COVID, literally ignoring everything. You want universal background checks? 80% of the country wants universal background checks. Not going to happen. You want a minimum wage rise? Not going to happen. You want $2,000 stimulus checks? Not going to happen. Why? They don't give a shit about you. They only give a shit about who the people they think are their employers. So guys, this is my thing. Because I'm frustrated, as you can see. And I'm watching CPAC, and I'm seeing them beat their chests about how conservative they are. Meanwhile, 8 million people are slipping into poverty. People are about to be evicted from their homes. People are at desperate times, losing their mental faculties. Mental health is lapsing in this country. And Fauci, by the way, the god of COVID, he's never said anything good in his entire life. Yesterday, he said that even with the vaccine, we won't even be able to go to theaters or dine out. Fauci, you just sank the entire service industry. You sank the entire cinema. Fauci, you are like a huge Debbie Downer, buzzkill, Grim Reaper guy. I don't know who taught you your bedside manner, Fauci, but I need to talk to him because I need to tell him that he didn't learn anything. We need to get rid of Fauci, guys. Okay? He's not supposed to be the spokesperson for our country. We are. Politicians are supposed to be spokespersons. They're not supposed to be celebrities. We are supposed to run this shit. We need to start acting like we will. We've gotten lost in all of our different issues. Abortion is very important. Abortion is very important for a lot of people. Gay marriage is very important for a lot of people. I know, guys. But I've literally forgone all of my issues that I used to care about. I don't care about a single issue right now, except one issue right now. That issue is literally getting back to the ownership role of our country, the people. Before we can solve any other issue, the first issue that needs to be solved is our ownership. We need to regain our ownership. We need to regain our birthright. We need to regain our principles and values, and we need to stand for them. Stand like the founding fathers did in Philadelphia. It wasn't easy. And by the way, if the founding fathers would have lost, King George would have taken all of them and hung them from trees all over the East Coast. They knew this. Back in the day, that was treason, bro. It was a hard decision, but they had to stand for their principles and values. It doesn't even have to come to that. It doesn't have to come to a violent revolution. It just needs to come for us to not allow these politicians to run rampant. Because in our Constitution, it still says that we run this shit. While all of these things are twisted and turned around and people think that Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg own it, no, we still have our Constitution. And the Constitution says that we own this shit. The Constitution gives us, the people, power. We need to take it back, guys. We have to take it back. So, anytime any politician, I guess, comes along that wants to do something like that, I'll endorse them. But I'm no longer endorsing any Democrats or any Republicans. They're not supposed to be, they're not supposed to exist. They are an abomination to our country. They are literal parasites. They're vermin. And I will no longer allow this. I know this makes me unpopular with the left wing. You know, we're supposed to let Joe Biden carry out a progressive agenda like he will, like he only cares about himself, which he always has. The only thing Joe Biden's ever cared about in his entire life was Joe Biden. When he plagiarized the speeches, he cared about Joe Biden. When he raped Tara Reade, cared about Joe Biden. When he put the crime bill on the floor because the prison industrial complex was paying for his kickbacks and his campaign finance contributions, he only cared about Joe Biden. Joe Biden has never cared about anyone, not even Hunter, but Joe Biden. Just so y'all know. Joe Biden has never cared about anyone, not his family, not his friends, not his country. He's only cared about Joe Biden. And that's who these politicians are. They're literal sociopaths. So I'm not standing for it anymore, guys. I'm really not. This CPAC conference put me over the edge, guys. I'm tired of people beating their chests and rah-rah-rahing, sis boom bang. If you want to cheer for the Spurs, cheer for the Cowboys. There is no longer room to cheer in this. This is life or death situations. These are literal imposters that have taken the power of the American people and are funneling wealth. I'm no longer allowing this, guys. I don't care how many left-wingers tell me that I'm letting the conservatives win. And we're going to have another Trump if you don't let Joe Biden fucking confirm near attendant. I don't give a shit what they say. I'm not talking to these guys anymore. I don't really give a shit. We have a huge issue, guys. And if y'all don't see what I'm talking about, then I don't know what to say. Read the Constitution. Democrats and Republicans, they're not in it. They're not in it, guys. You know what's in the Constitution? We the people.